Sexuality and love from a Stoic perspective. Have you ever stopped to think about what your love life would be like if you looked at it from the perspective of an ancient philosopher? Today, we're going to delve into a view that, although originating thousands of years ago, still resonates today, the Stoic perspective. Stoicism, born in ancient Greece and flourishing in the heart of Rome, not only addressed questions about the nature of the universe or the purpose of life, but also delved into the complexity of our emotions and relationships. The Stoics believed that life should be lived in harmony with nature and that our emotions, including love and sexual desire, should be understood and managed wisely. Love and sexuality, seen from the Stoic perspective, are not mere ephemeral passions. They are, rather, opportunities to exercise virtue, self-mastery, and, most importantly, to recognize our shared nature with other human beings. The Stoics taught us that although love can be a powerful and unifying force, it must be approached with awareness and not allowed to be carried away by uncontrolled passions. As for sexuality, it was not seen as a simple physical act, but rather as an expression of the natural order, with its own purposes and meanings. The relevance of understanding this lies in the fact that, in doing so, we discover deeper and more meaningful ways of relating to ourselves and others. Put another way, the Stoics offer us a lens through which we can view and understand love and sexuality in a broader context, where self-mastery, respect, and mutual understanding are of paramount importance. So if you've ever felt lost on the topics of love and relationships, or if you're simply looking for a new, deeper perspective, join me on this journey into the world of love and sexuality through the eyes of the Stoics. Because although his words were formulated millennia ago, the lessons they contain are as relevant today as they were then when we talk about love and human relationships. The role of nature in sexuality according to Stoicism. Speaking of Stoicism, it is impossible not to mention the deep reverence that this philosophy had for nature. But how does this relate to our sexuality and desires? Firstly, for the Stoics, understanding human nature was essential to leading a virtuous life. They believed that we are born with certain inclinations and desires that, in essence, are neutral. What really matters is how we respond and act towards them. So when we talk about desire, especially sexual desire, it is not something that should be rejected or seen as something negative in itself, it is simply a part of human nature. However, what sets us apart, according to the Stoics, is how we choose to act on these desires. But, beyond the simple acceptance of desire as something natural, the Stoics saw sexuality from a much broader perspective and connected with the cosmos. According to his view, everything in the universe follows an order determined by nature, a constant flow of causes and effects. Sexuality, in this context, is nothing more than an expression of this natural order. It is not just a physical act or a simple attraction, but a manifestation of nature's will for life to continue. This understanding of sexuality as something that is in harmony with the order of the universe leads the Stoics to see it as something transcendental. It is not simply about pleasure or procreation, but a way of connecting with something greater than oneself, with the rhythm and melody of the cosmos. Therefore, when approaching sexuality from a Stoic perspective, we are not just talking about individual acts or desires, but how they fit into the larger picture of nature. It is a reminder that we are, in essence, natural beings and that our desires and actions, including in the field of sexuality, must be understood and treated in this broader context. Because ultimately, our sexuality, just like every other facet of our existence, is an opportunity to live in harmony with the universe and ourselves. Love, relationships, and detachment. Have you ever heard the term, Stoic love? At first glance, it may seem like a contradiction. After all, Stoicism is known for its focus on self-mastery and detachment. Meanwhile, love is one of the most intense and passionate emotions we can experience. But this is where the beauty of Stoic thinking regarding love lies. The Stoics, far from renouncing love, invite us to experience it in a deeper and more meaningful way. Seneca, one of the most renowned Stoics, said, "It is not that we avoid affections, but that we decide which affections we follow." It is a call not to reject our emotions, but to guide them and give them direction. The central idea here is not to get carried away by uncontrolled passions. Love, when it is impulsive and unexamined, can lead us to hasty decisions, obsession, or even despair. But when we approach it with Stoic wisdom, we can love deeply without losing our inner peace. This is what is known as love without attachment, loving without expecting anything in return, without trying to possess or control the other, but simply appreciating their presence and valuing the shared moment. And speaking of which, it is impossible not to mention Epictetus, who had some of the most profound reflections on love and desire. One of his most iconic phrases says, "Do not ask for things to happen as you want, but wish things as they happen and you will have a peaceful life." If applied to love, Epictetus is telling us that instead of trying to shape the relationship according to our desires or expectations, we should learn to love and appreciate things as they are, accept the impermanence of relationships, the possibility that they will change or even end, and still decide to love anyway. Detachment, in the Stoic context, does not mean a lack of care or affection. On the contrary, it means loving in a freer and more genuine way. It is the ability to enjoy the present without constantly worrying about the future, to appreciate the person you love without trying to change them, and to understand that true love is not possessive, but liberating. In short, the Stoics offer us a unique perspective on love. One that is deeply passionate, but at the same time balanced and centered. It is a reminder that love in its purest form is a celebration of life and our connection with others, and when we experience it from this place of wisdom and detachment, it becomes one of the most enriching and transformative experiences of our lives. Marriage and family in the Stoic vision. Marriage and family have been fundamental pillars in many cultures throughout history, but how did the Stoics view this? What meaning did they give to these institutions and how did they live them in their daily lives? To begin with, we must understand that, for the Stoics, marriage was not just a union of two people in love, but also a commitment to society and the continuity of humanity. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, mentioned that the act of marriage is an act of nature aimed at the continuation of the species. He did not see marriage as a simple social convention, but as an integral part of cosmic harmony and the natural order of things. From this perspective, duties and responsibilities in a marriage were not seen as burdens, but as opportunities for personal growth and contribution to the common good. Fidelity, mutual respect, support and commitment were fundamental to the Stoics. A successful marriage relationship was based on virtue, mutual understanding, and a commitment to work together to achieve the greater good for both the couple and the community. And when we come to the topic of education and children, the Stoics had an equally deep and reflective perspective. They firmly believed that children are not simply little adults, but developing beings who need guidance, love and, above all, good examples to follow. Seneca said that children learn more from what they see than from what they are told. In other words, parents' behavior and actions are the first life lessons for their children. From this perspective, educating a child is not just about transmitting knowledge, but also about instilling values, teaching through example and preparing them to face life with wisdom and resilience. The Stoics advocated an education that cultivated virtue, self-control, and the ability to face adversity with serenity. To conclude, the Stoic view of marriage and family is a combination of commitment to nature, society, and oneself. It was not just about fulfilling roles or following conventions, but about living according to principles that enrich the lives of both individuals and the community as a whole. It's a vision that, although ancient, continues to have surprising relevance in today's world and offers a refreshing perspective on how to live family relationships and responsibilities fully and authentically. Stoic advice for a balanced love life. It is necessary to remember the words of Marco Aurelio, who said, "What does not benefit the hive, does not benefit the bee." This simple reflection invites us to see love and relationships not only from an individual perspective, but also from a collective one, reminding us that what is good for one person must also be good for the couple and vice versa. Seneca, in turn, advised that, wherever there is a human being, there is the opportunity to be kind. In the context of love, this reflection invites us to treat our partner with kindness, understanding and respect at all times, recognizing their humanity and value in our lives. But how do we apply this advice to our current relationships? Here are some ideas based on Stoic thinking. Value the present. Seneca reminded us that life is brief. Cherish every moment with your partner, live in the present and don't let worries or expectations for the future overshadow your current happiness. Self-control. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-control in love. This means not allowing yourself to be carried away by unfounded jealousy, anger, or resentment. Cultivate patience and understand that everyone, including yourself, is imperfect. Love without attachment. As Epictetus taught, we should not become too attached to external things, as they are not under our control. This includes relationships. Love with passion, but always be prepared to accept any outcome with equanimity. Cultivates communication. Although the Stoics did not directly talk about communication as a couple, they emphasized the importance of wisdom and understanding in daily life. In relationships, open and honest communication is essential to understanding and being understood. Seeks mutual growth. Love is not just about feeling butterflies in your stomach, but also about growing together as individuals. As Marco Aurelio would say, look for what is beneficial for both and encourage mutual improvement in the relationship. In the end, Stoic wisdom invites us to see love and relationships through a lens of authenticity, understanding, and growth. Although they lived millennia ago, their teachings remain a beacon of light in the complex labyrinth of love in the contemporary world, and perhaps by embracing this wisdom, we can find a deeper, more meaningful, and balanced love in our lives. The legacy of Stoicism in love and sexuality today. As we scroll through the pages of history and delve into the depths of Stoic thought, we wonder what the relevance of it all is in our world today. And the answer, although it may surprise some, is a lot. Stoic teachings about love and sexuality are not mere relics of the past, but timeless guides that can illuminate the way we relate today. We live in an era where love and relationships are often idealized and commercialized. Instantaneity and immediate gratification seem to govern our interactions. However, the Stoics remind us of the importance of introspection, self-discipline, and genuine connection. Love, in its essence, has not changed over time. What has changed are the circumstances and contexts in which it manifests itself. However, by applying Stoic principles such as valuing the present, self-mastery, and love without attachment, we can forge more authentic, resilient, and deeper relationships. In sexuality, beyond physical pleasure, the Stoic perspective invites us to understand and respect our nature, to recognize the beauty in intimate connection, and to approach it with a clear mind and a genuine heart. So as we move forward into this modern era with its unique challenges and opportunities, let us carry with us the gems of wisdom that the Stoics bequeath to us, not as a rigid manual, but as a beacon to guide us toward more meaningful and enriching relationships. Before we say goodbye, please confirm your subscription to the channel. Here I leave 2 videos that may be of interest to you. Take care and see you soon.